Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Because my name is Tai San. I'm from Far East Gemological Institute, Singapore. And first, I'd like to thank the Taipei International Gem Forum and Expo, and especially to Ms. Sami, who has spoke to me on the messengers, which I appreciate very much. And thank you. And my topic is on Myanmar golden lip culture pearl. And of course, before I proceed, I'd like to introduce my company. Let me have 1 minute of it. Far East Gemological Institute was started back in 1988. Myself, I've been a geologist, graduate from University of London, and got my master at the Imperial College of Science and Technology. And of course, I'm more into education and research. And when I graduated from GIA back in 1980, when I came out, I did the jewelry appraisal. So as a result of that, I've been continuing since then for the last 40 years. And education-wise, we teach schools, jewelers, and even pawnbrokers, and even consumer. And on top of that, over the years, I did many research with the physics department, National University of Singapore, and of course the life science department, Singapore Polytechnic. And over times, we spent almost 20 over years doing research on gemstone and published many of the papers in the physics paper or even the material science paper. So not much in the gemology. Only the last 10, 15 years, we decided to publish them in the Gemological Journal. And my son, Kuming, Hui Ying, my daughter-in-law, Hui Ying, they all started a gem museum. And that was about 5, 6 years ago. And with the help of Andrew Neo, Lisa Ko, and Xiao Hui, they all started the gem museum. Okay. And my topic, as I mentioned just now, Myanmar golden lip culture pearl. This one was not by myself, but we have a team of scientists, marine biologists, and also people from SSCF. And Dr. Teti Yong, he is the Director General of Department of Geological Survey and Mineral Explorations and Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, based in Naypyidaw, Yangon, in Myanmar, pardon. And of course, we have Myo Win. He is a Deputy General Manager, Myanmar Pearl Enterprise, Ministry of Natural Resource and Environmental Conservation, and Bek, which is the capital city of southern part of Burma, which is Taiwan. And you have another gentleman who is a marine biologist, Tay Zalin, and who has helped a lot in this work. And of course, without the SSCF help, I cannot even give a lecture on this. Gina Brombach, who is an analyst at the SSCF in Basel, Switzerland. And of course, Dr. Michael Jemiski, he's the director of SSCF. The content of my lecture will be background of the Myanmar pearl farm, culturing processes, and results and conclusion. Quite simple. But of course, here I traveled there in just before the lockdown in 2020. The COVID hits, and I was fortunate enough to get my friend Yi Ao, and he was very kind to arrange for the trip. And of course, I had to fly all the way from Singapore to Yangon, and then from Yangon fly down to Bek. And this Bek is the capital city of Taiwan and divisions. And from there, we took a boat out about 5 hours from Bek all the way to the island in St. Malcolm Islands. And it's about 70 nautical miles. It's about 128 kilometers. There are about 15 pearl culturing islands among the 800 islands among this area. As you can see here on the left-hand side, there's your Bek, the capital city of Taiwan. And of course, it took us 5 hours by boat, a speedboat actually, to fly through the water to reach that island. And they call the Pearl Island. The Burmese will call it Palayun. Okay, and you can see that there's about 15 different companies operating on different smaller islands where the water is very pristine. And of course, this is where the farm started. Give you some background. And the pearl farm was actually started by Myanmar pearl farming industry, started back in 1954 as a joint venture between the Burma Pearl Fishing and Culture Syndicates with the Japanese pearl farmer Kichiro Takashima under the name of South Sea Pearl Company. And this is the picture on the right-hand side showing the headquarters where it is at Samarkand or Palayun. And of course, just to give you a stages of growth of the culturing of spade, then followed by implantation of nuclei and harvesting of cultured pearl. On the right hand side, you can see the Burmese golden pearl plus some white one. And of course, the shell itself is very unique. And we were invited to visit the culturing rooms where they cultured some of the phytoplanktons. And of course, this is large tank where they house the growing of the spade of the Pindada maxima. And of course, in these particular rooms, it's the temperature control rooms. It's about 20 degrees Celsius with cultivated phytoplanktons in the jar as it's used for feeding of the spades. And of course, here you have the microscope and some of the staff there observing the health of this little spade. Okay, there's a couple of microns only, very small, very tiny ones. And in there, the counting of baby Pindada maxima, these spades are formed by fertilization of parent oyster in the lab. And the larva will swim freely in the tank for 15 to 20 days. After 45 days, which about 42 days, the baby oyster will attach to collector ropes. And the farmer would put the rope out in the sea, as it grows bigger and bigger. And each rope is contain about 200 spades in each of the string, and the 96 to 160 string, which is quite a lot, for a tank like this. And of course, here is the life cycle of Pindada maxima, starting with the spawning and the sperm and egg, which is about 58 microns, very tiny. And then as it grows, it forms into cleavage of embryo. And you can see on the right-hand side here, starting from the first polar body, and then eventually for about 8 to 10 hours, it starts to multiply, the cells start to multiply and go into a larva stage and into a D-shaped larva, which is about 10 to 12 days, and proceed on to forming vigilates, and eventually go into umbel stage and form into a plantigate. And all this takes about 45 days, 40 to 45 days, okay? So this is the stages of growth of this tiny little spades. And of course, once they grow slightly bigger, about 1 to 2 mm size, they're put out in the rig on the sea. As you can see here, they have a platform on the right-hand side where the water is very pristine, and of course they'll just let the string be hanging down, eventually onto the float anyway. So a lot of workers are transferring from stages of different growth of the spades. So here you can see the spades are growing bigger, and then the workers are busy transferring the bigger spade to the basket and allow it to grow. So after 18 months, the oyster are sent for nuclear implantations. And of course, here you can see there's a farm, the pearl farm in Palayun Bay area. And you can see a lot of black boin. And of course, this one will be where they hang down these various string where the spades are attached to. And here you are, a long line, they call it a long line pearl farm. It's a stretch of 112 meters long at the main rope with 34 floats. And in these floats, they have many of these little long string ropes, I would say. On the left-hand side, you can see this actually anchor onto with the concrete floor, which is anchored onto the sea floor. And then you can see on the left-hand side, starting with the green circular net, where the spades are put into there for another 1 more month from the 40 days. And then from there, they transfer to the blue triangle net, and eventually 8 pocket net panels and 6 pocket panels. And of course, you have the droppers, okay? So on the top there, you can see the floats is about 4 meters wide. The ropes are about 1 meter wide. The depth is about 3 meters. So we can see that how they really take care of these little spades of Pindada maxima. And once they are reached up to a stage of 18 months old, the size of about 12 cm size, they are sent for implantation of the nucleus. And the nucleus, of course, you read from the literature, is mostly from the washboard nucleus, come from Japan. It's about size about 4.5 to 7 mm diameter. And here you are, the pearl farmer was showing the cultured pearl, which is about, is about 16 months old, more or less. And here you are, another photo of the Deputy General Manager, Myo Wing. He's showing a bowl of harvested golden cultured pearl from Myanmar. It's very beautiful, actually. And I bought 7 pieces of this cultured pearl from a local dealer who would buy directly. We cannot buy direct from the Myanmar Pearl Enterprise. So what I did was, my contact is that we bought it from 7 pieces, and then we sent it to SSCF in Switzerland. And Dr. Gemological was very kind enough to do the analysis for me. And we have a round to off round, size about 14 to 9 mm size, left, right, color light yellow to yellow, and slightly creamy. And of course, the method that we used for this analysis was X-ray radiography, EDXRF, UV-Vis, NIR spectrometer. And the result is that the X-ray radiography shows that they have the thick nacre on the left-hand side, which is about 3 millimeter thick. And then on the right-hand side, of course, you have the thickness can be very thin, about maybe less than 0.5, about 5 or even 1 mm thick. And the reason for that is I found out was the second implantation. And the second implantation is such that, they only left it in the shell for about 1 year, whereas for the others, about 2 years. And of course, we did the EDXRF, review the composition of the saltwater pearl, review that is low traces of manganese. And of course, this is seawater, saltwater cultured pearl as compared to the freshwater, which is the concentration of manganese is higher. And of course, we want to find out whether the color is natural or not using the UV-Vis NIR spectrometer, refractance spectra. I want to investigate. We investigate one of the yellow cultured pearl. The review that is about 330 to 450 nanometer range is indicating that the color is on the left-hand corner, right at the bottom there. The color of this cultured pearl of Vindara maxima is natural. Okay, and in conclusions, of course, Palawan or Pearl Islands produced the golden lip cultured pearl from Myanmar. Since 1998, they added modern facility to increase SPET production, cultivating of SPET in the special room, then transfer them to allow the SPET to grow in the sea before implantation. Harvesting is about 2 years, and nearly all are golden lip cultured pearl. I saw some are silver white too. Our finding of the cultured pearl confirmed it is a saltwater cultured pearl, and the yellow color, of course, is natural, and its beads is beads nucleated. Based on the report on Myanmar Pearl Enterprise from 2019 to 2020, about 1.5 million cultured pearl was produced. The weight about 764,151 more made. Okay, so to my acknowledgement to my friend Lee Ao, who is a gemologist, also a guide who traveled with me for the last nearly 30 years. And Win Tae is assistant manager. Sai Ye Chu is a marine biologist, and of course staff at MP, while I was there in the pearl farm in the Palawan, they look after us very well, plus the lunch and so on. And SSCF for the analysis, and to my family. And of course, thank you all for your attentions. And if you're interested to find out more, you can write to me through my website. Check it out on my website or even Facebook. And just to show you the picture here, on the right-hand side, actually, you can see then they have a lot of shells that's left over, and then they make into ornaments, okay? And thank you all for your attention.